Hey guys, welcome back to the 100-Day Project, my take on florals, and we're working on day 5 today. I just wanted to wholeheartedly say thank you to anybody that comes on here to watch. I really appreciate it. I hope that you can get some inspiration or learn anything from this. That's my reason for doing these videos. So as you could see before, that was my photo that I am working from, and again, it is a loose interpretation. I try to keep my eyes on the actual picture that I'm working on and not so much the paper. That way I'm drawing kind of what I see, what my mind sees. And again, it's loose. It is not exact by any means. So I sketched it out using my Pilot fountain pen in blue ink. And now I'm going in with my Daniel Smith palette. And I believe that that's the only palette that I use in this one. So I am trying to stay within the lines a little more so this time, so that it doesn't quite bleed as much as it did in especially the first two florals that I did. And the other thing I'm doing here is I'm adding a lot more concentrated watercolor. Another technique that I'll be using that you'll see is I'm more dabbing the color so that it stays concentrated instead of just like painting it on. And you'll see it right here where I'm like more like just dabbing the color in. And what I love about that is that it gives like kind of a ripple effect. And so that's what, I love about these abstract watercolors, is that you don't have to follow rules necessarily, where do it how whatever your instinct tells you to do. Don't fear that you've watched videos that have told you maybe that, okay, this is the correct way to use watercolor. While it might be, if that's going to stumble you from working, I know it did for me for years, where I thought, well, I can't do that. I can't do it as well as that person. That's why I'm making these videos, so that you can see really anything that you want to do. I truly believe that we were created to create, and I encourage you to just try it. Try it, even if it's a scribble. Scribbles are beautiful. So here I am taking some aquamarine and blending it in with the greens in here. And the end product of this one came out so pretty. And I really didn't necessarily, I knew I wanted it to be a leaf pattern so that it would coordinate with the page on the left from day 4. But I didn't really realize that I was going to pick the colors so similar as I'm looking at it right now. But I do at the end kind of break it up a little bit. I'm also adding some, I think it's called Van Dyke Brown, that will darken up the colors. Now, one thing that you have seen me do, well, actually 2 things. One, here I blot using the paper towel, and I'm not really, you can't really see, but I'm not actually pushing down the paper towel on the art. I'm using the edge of the paper towel, and the water soaks into the paper towel. And the other thing I have not done yet on these videos is mix my watercolors on the side. So I'm using them straight from the pan, and I'm allowing any mixing that's happening being done correct or exactly on the page itself. A lot of times I'll mix the watercolors in a mixing bowl and then add it to the page. So I will be doing that in future lessons or tutorials or demonstrations, whatever you want to call this. But for now, I'm just doing it like this. I'm taking this watercolor crayon, and I got it at Michael's. I think it was around $3 or $4. It's actually my first time using it. And it works like a creamy crayon, I guess I would say. And then I'm taking my Stabilo Stays All in black, and I'm just outlining it. And what I'm going to do next is so risky. I'm going to spray the page with a little squirt bottle that I have with water in it so that I can get that Stabilo to just come alive and be vibrant. Now, what I will have to tell you that if you're going to do something like that, remember, watercolor will move. It's activated by water, and so you need to be okay with that you don't know what the end result's going to be. And that's what I actually really love about watercolor, is that it allows me not to be perfect. I'm just taking a palette knife and I am just kind of scraping the color around, and then I wanted it a little bit more blurred. So I took a semi-wet brush and just kind of, blurred the lines around it. Now, what had happened with the fountain pen was that the blue ink, and it's kind of too far away from the camera for you to see it, but the blue ink had given it kind of a feathered effect, and I wanted it to be a little more of a sharp line. So I took my Stabilo and I went around the edge, and then I will also blur it out like I did in the picture to the left. So that's pretty much it. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will answer as soon as I can. I will see you back for the next day.
You were just standing there with the wind in your golden hair. Didn't know your name, but I could feel it with every heartbeat. Every time that our eyes would meet. Didn't know back then. And even in my wildest dreams, I didn't think that we could be together. Am I living in a fantasy, or is this for real? Never thought that you could fall for someone like me. Never thought that you could fall for me. Never thought that you could fall for someone like me. Never thought that you could fall for me, for someone like me.